Hello friends! While the media continues its tiresome proclamation of Etabia's winner, I think the president has the frying pan by the handle, and the upper hand too, after the seizure of the cheating computer servers. Having the frying pan by the handle means that being the one with the absolute power, the one who dominates the situation. You can also use the expression, he's the one who cuts the cut, or he's the one who handles the cut. Now, the most laborious part is to process the data obtained and present it in a legal form, so that the Supreme Court cannot refuse to examine it and has no choice but surrender to the evidence. This is a real work of legal engineering, in which the best technicians and lawyers in the USA are involved. Opinion article: The frying pan by the handle. The data will be known in 2 weeks. Seized data have not yet been processed. Server requisition confirmed in Frankfort. The case will be taken to the Supreme Court when the data is submitted. The Kraken is actually a cyber warfare program. Anomalies reported in 6 states and more in postal voting. The discovery of evidence will shake the globalists to their core. Rumour has it that the Supreme Court wants to repeat the elections. Count Committee warns of massive violence after re-election. Don't worry, we are moving towards a better world and everything is fine. We don't think it's logical for a Venezuelan company to count our votes. Let's start. Lawyers for the president's campaign have set out a clear path to victory in the US Supreme Court during a powerful press conference yesterday at the Republican National Committee building. The president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and the campaign's senior legal advisors, Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell, described patterns of possible massive election fraud on election day and outlined what they said are still multiple paths to victory in statewide vote audits that are key to the president. Members of the Republican legal team claim to have enough evidence to overturn the election results in several states in favor of the president. Lawyers have denounced election fraud in 6 states, claiming that the postal vote was a sham. The Republican legal team says that millions of votes were taken from the president in the election and that this scam is about to be exposed. Giuliani said nearly 700,000 mail ballots have been identified that should be discarded because they are not certifiable. The Kraken is actually a cyber warfare program run by the Department of Defense that tracks and pirates several other systems to acquire evidence of nefarious actions by the swamp. Loyalists in the Air Force Space Command and now certain sectors of the Defense Department and even the NSA have all the evidence of election-related anomalies. In fact, Sidney Powell stated that an algorithm was connected to steal votes from the president during the election, which is exactly what the alternative media have been warning about for more than a decade, since elections have been manipulated for at least the last 20 years, and probably longer. Excuse me. According to Rafa Pal, Rudy Giuliani suggests that in the next 2 weeks the data from the servers in Germany from which elections were hacked will be known. In particular, he said that in the coming weeks new and compelling evidence will emerge about the manipulation of the US election from outside its borders, which I have not been able to tell you about in this speech. Sidney Powell has confirmed the confiscation of servers in Germany. In addition, a representative of the Republican campaign has confirmed on television that the servers that hacked the elections were seized in Frankfort, and that what was found there will change the outcome of the elections. He explains that the disclosure of this data from the seized servers in Frankfurt will cause a shock to the population and destroy the globalists. He also claims that the case will be taken to the Supreme Court when this data is found. This confirmation comes after the damned hoax financed by Soros has said in its false news, "The only fake news I know of is that he has declared the Democratic candidate the winner without confirmation by the Supreme Court." Communist money. Sidney Powell denounced on Thursday that Venezuela's communist money has interfered with the US elections. During the press conference, Powell stressed that in the investigation of the legal challenges they raised about an alleged electoral fraud, they have discovered the interference of other countries, such as Venezuela. According to lawyer Sidney Powell, former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez is said to have coordinated the creation of a voting system that allowed the results to be changed in favor of the Democrat. In her opinion, communist money from Venezuela, Cuba, and China helped create software that altered the results of the election of 3rd November, which were won by the Democratic candidate according to media projections. The software itself was created with so many variables and so many backdoors that you can connect to the internet or jumped US drivers. But one of its most cost-effective features in its ability to change the votes. Powell added, according to US President Tim, an algorithm was run on the voting machines that allowed a certain percentage of votes to be changed. Venezuela. The president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, said, "We have merely used a Venezuelan voting machine in essence to count our votes. If we allow this to happen, we will become Venezuela." Rudolph Giuliani was very conclusive in one of the phrases he said almost at the end of the press conference. "It doesn't seem logical to us that Venezuelan company should count our votes, obviously. But there is something else he talked about, and that is something that happens in absolutely everyone. The censorship of information on social networks and censorship and manipulation of information by the big media." Cuba denies interference. The Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez denied the alleged interference of his country's government in the past US elections and called the accusations without evidence poor slander. In contrast to the current policy of the US State Department, Cuba does not interfere in the electoral process of other countries, Rodriguez tweeted. After the press conference, Starmatic issued a statement claiming that they have never been owned, financed, or supported by any government regarding its alleged relationship with the Dominion voting system. Starmatic stressed that it has never provided it with any software, hardware, or other technology, but that is, in fact, two companies that compete in the market. Raw data. During an interview on Wednesday with Newsmax, Counting Committee member Brian Truster said that overseas computer servers of the voting machine company Dominion had been confiscated. Now that we have confiscated Dominion's servers that were in Germany, we are starting to get some raw data, he explained. I want everyone to listen to me. The things that are going to come out are going to shake the globalists to their core. Trasher then warned Americans that the months of unrest seen across the country before the election would seem tame compared to what would happen once the president was re-elected. When the president is declared the winner of this election, it will be nothing like what they saw on the streets last weekend, with their supporters attacked in Washington. These people are coming from every city and every suburb. So be prepared, because this is happening and you must protect yourself. Always. We must protect. The president's opponents suggest re-education camps, firing squads, and banning radio broadcasting to the program 75 million supporters for the president. They responded to a Twitter feed asking how to deprogram 75 million people by suggesting that the president's supporters should be interned in re-education camps and that all patriotic radio programs should be banned. A strange sense of democracy and freedom these cave troglodytes have. I would suggest that they emigrate to North Korea so that they can satisfy their desires. Then ask to specify what things are going to come out with regard to the servants and the election rigging. Trasher responded with his own question. Why are the US overseas ballots being counted? He reflected. That's the question. I haven't gotten to the bottom of yet, but some of the raw data that emerges from this shows clear examples of how an algorithm in the software changed the votes. It was distributed for every vote that goes in one direction for one candidate, automatically adding votes in the other. Trust continued. That's why you saw in the New York Times own data tracking on election night in 68 seconds. The president went from being ahead by tens of thousands of votes, I think it was in Wisconsin, to suddenly being behind the 10,000 votes in 78 seconds. That's a statistical anomaly. The count committee member also said that the elite are scared that Dominion and Stammatic are familiar names. He noted that the federal court cases have just begun and that those cases that were dismissed in recent weeks were all in state courts by Democratic judges. Rumors. Some sources say that actions of the special forces have already started and that certain actors of the swamp have already been arrested and put on rendition flights to special sites. But these claims cannot yet be fully confirmed. However, they coincide with other observations we have observed in related articles. If the Patriots fail, the world will be plunged into a dark winter, with forced inoculations, armed blockades to crash world economies, nightmarish restriction on freedom and of speech, election risked forever, the activation of Mr. Door's global plan, the population agenda are things so strong that they cannot be said. Interestingly, just a year ago, the last paragraph would have provoked spams of conspiracy theory accusations from ordinary people. But today no one is laughing, because all the world leaders have announced their great reset and openly boast that the health crisis is a great opportunity to achieve globalism and slavery. Don Carlos de Marbella believed the Supreme Court is convinced that the votes should be repeated, but we have to wait and see. There is a case law on this matter, The Supreme Court already has a previous sentence that establishes that if an electoral fraud is discovered, the president in office declares himself the winner. The central message of Don Carlos de Marbella in all his videos is hope, faith, love and truth. Don't worry, we are moving towards a better world and everything is fine. We are witnessing the victory of the lie on all fronts. These are truly exciting times to be alive in this world. We, as warriors of light, are playing a very important role in this fight against evil. Our light, love, prayers and meditations are our special weapons and ammunition. We use them to fight this war. So keep them charged with energy and ready. Aim high and on target to end it now. Keep the frequency high and don't let anyone steal your energy. That's all for today, and thank you very much, friends.